Howdy. It is winter in Phoenix. We have transited Halloween, All Saints Day. We are into November. It is November 14th as I record this. My birthday, I am 57 years old today, and winter was never winter when I was a boy on my birthday, but now I'm in Phoenix where there are two seasons, incredibly hot and incredibly snotty, and we are into the incredibly snotty season, and I am lucky enough to have a voice today, and that's why I'm making this movie now. And I don't feel particularly wedded to any major theme. I think you might suppose I want to talk about the election, and I truly don't. I am desperately hoping that I'm wrong about the election. I predicted the ascent of President Fall Guy, in this case in the form of Donald Trump, but it really wouldn't have mattered. It could have been Jeb Bush or Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz. Any Fall Guy would do. And I hope to Christ I'm wrong about this, because I don't want to see what bag of shit they hope to leave Donald Trump holding. But I don't really think that was the big news this week anyway. The big news this week was the death of Leonard Cohen. As you might guess by the intonations that Cherry Bomb is bringing to you this evening, I wasn't made very happy by that news. And it put yet another apostrophe beside poor Bob Dylan's name. Dylan, through his record company, announced last week that he was gearing up to milk his completist collectors for another few $1,000s by releasing every live recording from 1966. They recorded every show he was on the road for 9 months anyway. They recorded everything. And now they're going to sell it all to people who can't stand not having everything. They're going to buy the same show again and again and again. Dylan did the same show forever. He did the same show again when he toured with the band in 73, the Before the Flood tour. It was exactly the same show he had done in 1966, except that they added some band tunes in the middle, side 3. I wore the grooves off that particular piece of vinyl. But here's Dylan awarded the Nobel Prize for massive plagiarism and mediocrity. And Dylan tries to play it cool, even though, of course, he's enormously flattered by this, as he would be. He's a slave to the mob. He tries to rule it, but he's always been a slave to the mob, so he tried to play it cool. But in the meantime, he's planning this yet another massive milking of his fan base. And then, and only then, does the news come that Leonard Cohen has shuffled off this mortal coil. And Leonard Cohen didn't deserve the Nobel Prize either. There is no such thing as a pop music composer who deserves to get the Nobel Prize for literature. But Leonard Cohen was so much better as a poet. Leonard Cohen was a poet, whereas Dylan was a pretend poet, a poseur, a fraudulent intellectual icon for a country of fraudulent intellects. And Leonard Cohen has always made that obvious since he broke onto the pop music scene. It's been obvious that Leonard Cohen is the real poet, and all the rest are in his train at best. Most of them well below the salt. Dylan certainly lucky to have a seat at the table at any position. And so poor Bob Dylan has to suffer this ignominy a third time, given an award that he couldn't possibly deserve. Tries to pretend that he's being cool about it while he's milking it for maximum financial benefit, and then Howard Rourke dies. We have Peter Keating in the form of Bob Dylan and Howard Rourke in the form of Leonard Cohen. And Howard Rourke died and reminded everybody what art looks like, what art really is. I had a few people argue with me in the video I made about Dylan, the first one I made a few weeks ago, and I've mentioned him since then, obviously. But I had a few people argue with me, and I thought the arguments were really kind of lame, and I am not arguing with you. Rule number 2, I am not arguing with you. But I thought the presentation that I made was really compelling, a really useful lens for understanding Bob Dylan's career. And the point that I made that Bob Dylan is nowhere to be found in his supposed poetry, how you can tell it's not art, there is no artist. And Leonard Cohen is exactly the opposite, that Leonard Cohen is everywhere in everything that he writes. And Leonard Cohen was doing everything he could to sabotage any career he might have had. He successfully sabotaged his career over and over again and still somehow managed to come out on top. It is worth noting that Leonard Cohen's actual career, to the extent that we know anything at all about Leonard Cohen, we know about him because of Bob Dylan. We want to take nothing from the man that is his just desserts. And Bob Dylan, I've been playing Tower of Song all week on Cherry Bomb on my guitar. I've been playing Tower of Song really loud because it's rock and roll and it's a lot of fun to play. But the original Tower of Song was the Brill Building on Broadway in Manhattan, and Bob Dylan blew up that Tower of Song by being a singer-songwriter, by not just a performer of folk music, but a performer of original folk music, original tunes, and pulled it off and had enormous radio hits eventually, and revolutionized music in the 60s. Carole King was a Brill Building songwriter and turned into a singer-songwriter. Neil Diamond was a Brill Building songwriter, turned himself into a singer-songwriter. That Leonard Cohen, when he first started trying to sell songs, was trying to sell songs as a writer, not as a performer, and was trying to worm his way into that kind of Brill Building sort of song-pushing system at the same time that Dylan was tearing it all down. And so Leonard Cohen was forced to become a performer because it was the only way that he could work as a songwriter by then. We owe Bob Dylan for the career that Leonard Cohen had. But I've been thinking in particular about Tower of Song. I'm not going to punish you by playing it, but I've been thinking about Tower of Song a lot because it's a real good example of pomo throwaway, postmodern, totally postmodern. It's hugely ironic. He's making fun of himself, making fun of the audience, making fun of the whole idea of art, making fun of every bit of the whole pop music world. He's making fun of it in that song, and he's doing it in a wryly self-referential way that the audience is supposed to know that they're in on the joke. This is total postmodernism. Postmodernism is evil as far as I'm concerned. This is evil in art. We give Leonard Cohen a pass because he was so good at it, but still, this is not a good thing. He starts with a joke to let you know that he's joking. He pays homage to Hank Williams in the second verse to let you know that he's really serious about music, even though he is joking. And then he sneaks in the real story of the song, 27 Angels from the Great Beyond. They tied me to this table right here in the Tower of Song. The Tower of Song is purgatory. This man is dead. The narrator of this song is dead, and he is now in purgatory, where he is going to be tested and tormented to find out what his future will be. And then we discover that his real tormentor in purgatory is some former lover. You can stick your little pins in that voodoo doll. Don't look like me at all. I'm standing by the window where the light is strong. I can tell the difference. I can tell a hawk from a handsaw. Besides, they won't let a woman kill you. Not here, not in the Tower of Song. And then we have another throwaway verse, just a joke. And then we go to the bridge, which is beautiful. The bridge is really beautiful. But he's back to a joke right there. And another joke right there. In music, which is wonderful. The music is really wonderful. It's a 12-bar blues with a bridge. That's what the song is. I see you standing there on the other side. I don't know how the river ever got so wide. How the river got so wide. What river? It's the river Dis, the river Styx. There, he's standing on the other side. She's on the other side. Is she dead? Is he dead? Somebody's dead. I loved you, baby, way back when. Oh, that's awful. But all the bridges are burning that we might have crossed. And yet I feel so close to everything we lost. Oh, what an asshole. And we'll never have to lose it again. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the way I want to sing it is ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. And totally Pomo, all the way through. It's hack writing about hack writing, which is funny. And I think that that's one way of understanding the song that maybe Leonard Cohen didn't intend, but it's there anyway, is that it's a hack writer writing about a failed project. He's writing about a song that he had been working on for a long time and he held great hopes for, and it failed him again and again and again. All the bridges are burning that we might have crossed, all of the different ways that he might have worked his way through this problem, and none of them worked. The 27 angels tied him to the table. They stuck pins in him. They tested and tormented him every way that they could, and he never could make that particular opus work. He couldn't make that piece of hack writing work, and so instead he produced another different piece of hack writing about the failed piece of hack writing, and then he says, I'm leaving today. I don't know when I'll be back. They're moving us tomorrow to some tower down the track. He's done with purgatory. I think maybe he's off to hell. But you'll be hearing from me, baby, long after I'm gone. I'll be singing to you sweetly from my window. Remember that window? From my window in the Tower of Song. And there's Leonard Cohen talking to us from beyond the grave. I'll be singing to you sweetly from my window in the Tower of Song. Art is emergent. Art is not what I, as the poet, wrote down, and it's not even my experience of what I wrote down, or what I think I'm writing down, or what I think I'm getting out of it. That's only part of it. It is part of it. And that is the best part of art for me, is making it for myself. Making my own art for my own enthrallment. But art is emergent when you consume it, when you ingest it, when it becomes part of you. The words, after a while, stop meaning anything because you hear them too many times. They become like chewing gum in your mind, and you can incant them, you can recite them, and yet you can't really relate to them. They don't mean anything to you anymore, and yet they really, really do. And the music, the underlying music, means something to you too, and all of it becomes bound to you. It becomes part of you. It changes you. The work is over there, and it's just over there. It just is, that's all. And you're over here, and you just are, that's all. But you put the two together, and you're changed forever. Whether you want to be or not, and maybe changed over and over and over again as the work works its way through you again and again and again, and you see different things in it. I was playing Sisters of Mercy again and again and again and again. And I know the backstory of that song. I know the actual backstory of the song. And so there's no real mystery there at all. And yet there's nothing but an elegiac mystery going on in that song. And what it means to me is unique to me. And what it means to you is something completely different. Tonight Will Be Fine is another one that drives me crazy. It's so simple as music. It is nothing as music. But the music is there for it. The song itself was hideously Pomo when he wrote it, and every recording that Leonard Cohen made of that song is hideously, awfully Pomo. I just want to smack him for it. And yet, starting with Alison Krauss, the covers have been unbelievable, unbelievably beautiful. But if you go back to that original recording from Songs from a Room, it is so awful, so Pomo, such a throwaway. I want somebody at CBS Records to take Leonard Cohen, whatever age he was at that time, he must have been 30, 35 maybe, old enough to know better. I wish somebody at CBS would have said, hey Leonard, here's your tapes. Take them home. We're not doing anything with this shit. Get the fuck out of my office. That's what he deserved for that recording. It's a wonderful song. I mean, it is an amazing song. And he just threw it away in the original recording, and he threw it away every time he performed it after that. And the song, when you hear it covered by Alison Krauss or Teddy Thompson or somebody like that, is just unbelievably beautiful. And yet, I can take that song and I could easily use it as the score for a 3-minute silent film, a 3.5-minute silent film about a stalker. And again, taking the original recording, it is easy to interpret the narrator of the song as a stalker. That there is a lady of the evening that he is enchanted by, and he moves into a building where he can hear her step on the stair, and he peers at her, possibly through his blue telescope, through his tiny little windows. I could easily interpret the song that way. And that's the point of demarcation, the way that you can see the difference between actual poetry and throwaway word salad that Bob Dylan put out there to fill the jargon encrusted brains of his inattentive audience. Leonard Cohen won't let you not pay attention. He won't let you not care. And if you let him into your mind, he will change you. He'll change you forever. That's his job. That's the job of art. And this week we lost an actual artist, and it really makes a difference. This is the Church of Splendor. I'm so glad I get to talk to you. I'm so glad you listened to me, my pointless maunderings. I'll be back next week with something possibly of more general interest. Bless you. Thank you.